federal judge has ordered the California Highway Patrol to release the video showing a Southern California man screaming, "I can't breathe," while multiple officers restrain him as they try to take a blood sample 2 years after his death. I mean, folks, this is 38-year-old Edward Bronstein was taken into custody on March 31st, 2020, following a traffic stop. The nearly 18-minute video taken by a CHP sergeant was released as evidence in Bronstein's family wrongful death lawsuit. Now, we want to warn you, the video we're about to show you is triggering and extremely hard to watch. So we're going to give you some time to turn away or get kids out of the room if you want to, before we actually show you this video. We're only going to show about 2 minutes of this particular video. And so, again, we're giving you time to step away. So let's go ahead and play the video now.
You're bringing the fight to this, not us.
I'm not fighting it at all.
Then have a seat and provide your arm. This is your last opportunity. Otherwise, you're going face down on the mat, and we're going to keep on going.
Okay, okay? I can't do it. I'll do it willingly, I suppose you. Please don't. Okay. I'll do it willingly. I'll do it willingly. I'll do it willingly. I promise. I'll do it willingly. I'll do it willingly. I'll do it willingly. I promise you will. I'll do it willingly. I'll do it. 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 I promise. I promise. No, don't do it like this. Too late. Don't do it like this. Too late.
We're not even poking you yet. Nobody's doing anything. You relax.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Just stop yelling.
I need to breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't. Please help. I can't breathe. I'll do it willingly. I'll do it willingly.
Just relax and stop resisting.
Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Please.
Stop moving.
I can't breathe.
The more you move, the worse it's gonna be, bro.
They push it on my chest. I can't breathe. I can't. You push it. Oh my
Folks, Bronstein died less than 2 months before George Floyd. Bronstein's daughter, Brianna Palomino, and her attorney, Michael Carrillo from Pasadena, California, join us right now. We're sorry there, Brianna, that we had to show that video. It has to be very difficult for you to actually see that video. What I'm not understanding, Michael, again, this is just we've done so many of these stories. What I'm not understanding is why you didn't have a cop sit there and say, "Hey guys, back off. Let's get him calm before we continue." Why did they have to draw his blood at that very moment?
Well, I think we're at a loss for the answers to those questions as well. The problem here is that the person that's actually video recording the entire event was a sergeant. So he's the supervisor. He's the one that's supposed to control the situation.
So wait, hold up. The person who should be directing the officers, he's videotaping, saying, that portion there, we heard nothing. Was he talking at all on the 18-minute video?
Well, at the beginning of the video, you'll hear him say things like, you know, you have to comply, or if you don't give it up, we're going to keep going. He says something about we're going to keep going. That's the gentleman that's in charge of the whole scene there. That's the sergeant. So when you have someone like that leading the blood draw, then what are the other officers supposed to believe? That they can do whatever they want?
Was what I'm trying to understand, why were they drawing his blood? It was a traffic stop.
Yes, so he was pulled over for an alleged driving under the influence. And the officers at the time believed that he was driving under the influence of a drug instead of alcohol. He did a breathalyzer on the street when they pulled him over, but it didn't come back above a .08. And so officers felt that they wanted to get a blood sample. They, in fact, did get a warrant to get his blood sample, but there are a lot better ways to get a blood sample than to essentially suffocate a man to death.
And so was the ruling by the medical examiner, he died based upon suffocation?
The ruling by the medical examiner was restraint by law enforcement and methamphetamine intoxication. So those two factors combined. Now, they ruled it undetermined cause of death, but I think we can all see on the video that it's a homicide. It was a killing by these officers of Edward Bronstein.
Brianna, what did California law enforcement authorities say to the family? Was there any apology? Or they just simply say, hey, if he hadn't resisted, he'd be alive? What was their reaction?
Up until now, they still have not said anything due to pending litigation.
How many children did your father have?
5.
5 children. What did he do?
He was training to be an airplane mechanic. He had actually just finished passing all his tests, so he was pretty much set and ready to go when this happened.
That is just shocking and astounding. I'm going to go to my panel. They have some questions for both of you. Matt, you're first.
My first question for you is, what is the law as it relates to the time frame that they can execute a warrant in California? I know, obviously, in driving under the intoxication crimes, generally the time is important. But what I've seen in my career is that if they have a subject that they don't believe they can get a blood draw from safely, they wait until they can do so. So is there any reason that it had to be executed right then? That seems to me to be the problem, because that creates, obviously, the Fourth Amendment issue we see here with the seizure being unreasonable. What is the law in that respect in California?
Well, the law in California, as I understand it, is that once the warrant is obtained, then they have to take reasonable measures to obtain that blood sample. What I think is important to remember here is that when Edward is turned over onto his front side, he says, "I'll do it willingly. I'll do it willingly." And you hear that on the video countless times. And yet there is no regard whatsoever for his life, to saving his life. And what you don't see in those 2 minutes that was played is, even after they flip him over, he's lifeless. He's blue in the face. He's dead. They don't call CPR. They don't administer first aid. They literally try to slap him to wake him up, as if that's going to do anything to a man that doesn't have a pulse and is dead.
Kelly.
First, I want to say to the family, my condolences on your loss. To humanize Mr. Bronstein a bit, could you just talk about who he was to you as a father, just as, someone important in your life, and the impact that this tragedy has had on you?
Yes, of course. He was very passionate about helping others. He was always there for me. I'm his oldest daughter, so he would always come over to eat my home-cooked meals. He was there to provide comfort as a father, and that is just something that you can't replace, and I believe every daughter needs their dad. He was an outdoors kind of guy. He loved hiking, swimming, gymnastics, biking. He was happy doing that, and I miss the warmth of his hugs. I miss his voice. It's really hard on me to continuously watch this video of him, and to see the opinions that others have of him.
Michael.
Well, first, my condolences to Brianna and the family. I mean, this is horrific. To the attorney, so Mr. Bronstein died March 31st, 2020. That's almost 2 years ago. What caused the federal judge to release the video that you just showed? What caused the federal judge to release the video now when Mr. Bronstein died almost 2 years ago? And then they talked about the medical examiner said the death was acute methamphetamine intoxication during restraint by law enforcement. So why haven't charges also been brought against these officers? It's been 2 years. Can you shed some light on that?
Sure. You're asking a lot of great questions. The second question you have is the same question that we keep asking. Why haven't any of these officers been charged with a crime, anything related to his death? They have not. The district attorney's office, George Gascon in particular, their office is not commenting. We've tried for the last year and a half to see if there's going to be any movement, if there's going to be any charges. We don't know that information. We hope that they take action and get justice for the family in some form. Now, I do want to say the Attorney General's office of the state of California, Rob Bonta, he can file charges as well. But what I find interesting is that he, as the Attorney General, talks a lot about transparency in law enforcement, supports bills that deal with transparency in law enforcement. But his office is the one that prevented us from releasing this video for about a year and a half. I just want to say that when Edward Bronstein passed away, his family did not know the circumstances for his death. That was kept hush-hush. We tried for, as soon as we got the autopsy report, thankfully the coroner's report came out with a very detailed description about what they saw in the video. At that point, we figured out that there was a video. We tried to get a Public Records Act request to get the video out. They denied our request. They said, we'll see you at trial. Through the case, they wouldn't turn it over unless we agreed not to produce it to media. Only recently did the judge, but because we had requested it, only recently did the judge say you can release it as of March 15, 2022. If it wasn't for us taking those steps, who knows how long the Attorney General's office would have kept this hush-hush. Because of how disgusting and vile it is, they even applied to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to try and overturn this judge's decision. They did everything in their power not to release this video. So it took extraordinary measures and this amount of time.
Wow, thank you.
Well, again, it's just, we've done so many of these different stories, and the family, that you want answers to what happened and why your loved one is not with you today as a result of these actions. Thank you so very much for joining us, sharing your story. Brianna Palomino, thank you so very much, as well as let me thank your attorney, Michael Carrillo, as well.
Can I just say one thing,
Yes.
Roland?
Yes.
I apologize. We're organizing protests this Thursday to support the charges being brought against these officers. We will get the information out on social media. If you can spread that to your viewers, that would be fantastic.
Yep, just simply be sure to tag us at Roland S. Martin on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll be sure to share that as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much.
Back to that Roland Martin unfiltered video in just one moment.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches! Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice
to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on that.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?